Hello, Dr. Castleberry here with another installment for our Comm 3603 Mass Communication Perspectives video discussion. That's right, it's our video discussion 2 prompt designed to integrate with our week 2 ideas in the course. I said at the beginning of this accelerated class, one of my goals and objectives is to look for ways to consolidate your work efforts, our weekly labor, in ways that are going to maximize productivity and also incentivize forward progress, making good progress on the main objectives in the course. And of course, we have a lot of stuff tied into our weekly readings, and I hope you all are getting into those, receiving those materials, and finding things to cling to or draw inspiration upon. But we also have the major project in the course. Now, as you know, by this point in the class, week 1 is about brainstorming. That leads right into creating a proposal language for that, right? Coming to a firm decision in week 2. And that's going to lead us toward the development of a media analysis paper. There's a lot of directions. It's very open-ended on what the focus of that is, what the maybe thesis or hypothesis of that research style paper could be, but we want to work diligently to making some key decisions. And so here's what I'd like to do with our space in week 2. Week 1, you've been brainstorming ideas. Hopefully it's a topic relatable to communication or media, right? In that type of general direction that you're going to focus time and effort on. Now, if you're strategic, you're probably also drawing upon areas of familiarity, but I would also point you to looking at or for possibility in terms of what's an area you may be less familiar with, maybe especially on the research side, but you're interested in pursuing for the investment of this written project. And so think about areas that you may have some or little knowledge in, but you want to grow in that knowledge base. You want to grow in your confidence and competence there. So that could be a way to go about it. Well, here's where I want to plug in our week 2 video discussion. I want it to come out of having completed that brainstorm. I'd like you all to open up a little bit and reflect on the ideas that went into your week 1 brainstorm and briefly summarize. We don't need you to read or rehash text. We don't need you to read paragraphs of text that you wrote in your brainstorm exercise. Just talk about it a little bit. What we call our extemporaneous method of speaking. You know the knowledge, and it's rehearsed in your head. Just have a conversational sharing of some of the thoughts that went into that week 1 written portion. And here's what we'd like you to present as your video discussion prompt 2. So here we are. Whoops, we're almost at that 4-minute mark here with the prompt. But context matters, and it's always important to establish a healthy context. Now, I want you to ask any questions. Maybe they're rhetorical questions. Maybe they're questions where your peers can offer support. Maybe the instructor, maybe others can speak into it. But in your week 2 response, I want you to float some of the ideas, if not the main idea you're interested in following through with for that research, that written research paper. And then I would like you to ask, or rather raise, 1 or 2 concerns that you might have, right? So in other words, we want to practice transparency about, here's an idea I'm thinking about. Here is either 1 to 2 areas in which I'm hesitant about it, or here's 1 to 2 questions I have about this area going into it. Now, dig a little bit deeper beyond the confessional of saying, well, I just don't know yet. This is the space where we want to even if we're not committed to the singular idea yet, we've got to move into more concrete territory of what we're interested in studying, researching, writing about for the duration of the course. And so this is a reward mechanism. This video discussion that we'll get a participation for is pushing us in that area to start thinking out loud. You've thought on paper, now we think out loud, and then we can get some supportive feedback. Guess what? One of the biggest problems in any online class when there's not a ton of engagement, there's no live class, is that we can't test our ideas out. And so the lack of space to do so can cause us to question and doubt, and thus maybe even for some in extreme cases shut down and want to run away from those problems. But this video discussion gives us a healthy lane through which we can process our ideas and actually get some real-time feedback. Well, incentive, the earlier you post your video discussion, the sooner and the more likely you're going to get peer responses. If you're posting a week or two late and behind others, you're not likely to get response from your peers. So post on time, post early if you can, for this one at least, and let's be ready to check back in with one another's videos. They don't have to be long like this prompt, okay? But I wanted to build a sturdy case for what we want to accomplish here. Float your idea, be willing to talk about that idea you're leaning toward, maybe top idea or top two directions. Then it's about sharing some initial concerns you might have with that, with the project as you understand it. It's a space to ask questions. So the prompt gets us in a question asking mode, and you know what? That's a healthy space to be in, especially at the start of week 2 in our Mass Communication Perspectives course.